ज्ञानतिमिरस्य जनाञ्जशकलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितेन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवाद पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी। हरे कृष्ण एवरीवन।
Hare Krishna. So, for the clarity of everyone, because most of you would be joining for the first time, right? So, for the clarity of everyone, I am chanting once again, right? So, first we chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya 3 times. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, right? Thereafter, we started Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Right? So let's start with today's session. Let me share. Okay. So today we are starting understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days, right? It's a we are just getting started, and let me tell you beforehand only that this would be the most precious 18 hours of your life. For those who have already joined these classes, they would have realized this fact, and they are joining again and again because of only this fact that they have realized that these 18 hours that we would be talking about Krishna, we would be talking about Krishna telling Arjuna Bhagavad Gita, and Arjuna asking questions. These would be the most beneficial for us. Why? We would know, right? Let's get started. So we are hearing all these mysticism about Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna told in the Bhagavad Gita through A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Srila Prabhupada himself. How? Through his books, right? So this Bhagavad Gita session is based upon the teaching of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada. But why only Prabhupada? There are other many versions of Bhagavad Gita. Why only Prabhupada? So let's talk about Prabhupada first, and thereafter we would understand why only Prabhupada. So Prabhupada met his guru. Srila Prabhupada met his guru at the age of 26. Uh, and he decided then to take this movement everywhere across the world. In the first meeting itself, in the first meeting, back then people used to get married very early into age, and he was married back then, and he thought like, I'm already married, how can I go to places? He was thinking, right? But and he asked his guru, his instructing guru, his master, right? What did he ask? He asked, what can I do that could make you happy? He just said one thing. His guru told him one thing: take this movement across the world. That would greatly satisfy me. So he started doing whatever possible, whatever preaching he wanted to make people understand about Krishna, about his teachings, right? In 1933, when he was 33-year-old, he wrote a letter. He described that I am a family man now, and I have a lot of responsibility. How can I do? But his guru knew what he was capable of, right? So he told him that I want you to preach this movement across the globe, and you would be able to. Don't worry, you would be able to. At 19 in 1936, he left. He's instructing guru, his master, right? He left his body, and Srila Prabhupada was left with nothing but a letter in his hand by his master, and telling him that you should take this movement across the globe. Now he was trying his very hard. He published magazine at the age of 55 years old. He left every household activities, and he dedicated himself in preaching about Krishna only, just Krishna consciousness. He was preaching across, but he was not finding that kind of success which he actually expected at the very start, right? So what happened at the age of 70? Now think about 70 years old. Today, you see 40, 50 years old people getting very, very weak. He was 70 years old. And in that age, something unimaginable thing happened. Srila Prabhupada, took the journey from India to America in a ship, where he survived heart attacks. He did not have a lot of money, nearly no money. He did not have any belongings with himself except his writings on the Bhagavad Gita and Krishna, and other scriptures upon Krishna. So he had nothing. He had literally nothing in his hand. Just he wanted to preach about Krishna, and he took the ship from India to America, and he started preaching about Krishna consciousness. He When he went to America, he started doing kirtan, right? He did not have any follower. Think about it. You go with empty handed, and you don't have anything. You don't know any person, you don't know any place, you don't know anything, right? So he started doing kirtan in garden, right? And people used to join. Why people used to join? Because it is very, very attracting. Why it is attracting? Because Krishna is attracting. We would come to know why Krishna is so attracting, but for now you just understand that Krishna is attracting. And uh, people got attracted to his kirtan. People got really attached. They were just gluing to his kirtan, and people used to come and hear about Krishna. Every day they would come and hear about Krishna, right? Soon the movement began to grow in number. People used to join more and more, hear more and more about Krishna, more kirtans, right? People used to get frenzy about Srila Prabhupada. People just wanted to join the movement that Srila Prabhupada began from nothing, right? Thereafter, Srila Prabhupada met many big leaders across the globe, right? And he talked about Krishna, and his magazine, he published one magazine which was Back to Godhead. Why it was Back to Godhead? Again, we would come to know later, but Back to Godhead was bestseller, the bestseller magazine in America. So a saint who went to America, which he did not have anything, he was the bestseller. He had that writing which made him the bestseller magazine, and there were many books that he wrote, and the most popular among all of them is Bhagavad Gita, right? And he moved across the globe. We all know how ISKCON movement has flourished across the globe. I believe most of the people joining in this session would be from West and Europe, and yeah. So Srila Prabhupada went across the globe to preach about Krishna consciousness. His followers, his disciples moved across the globe to teach about Krishna consciousness, right? This is Radha Govinda deity that we have in ISKCON Bengaluru, right? So this is our deity, and this course is organized by His Grace Namanishta Das Prabhu. He's the temple president, right? And this is ISKCON Mangaluru's address, and this is the GPS, right? If you ever come to Mangaluru or nearby, I request you to please visit the temple once, at least once, right? And this is the YouTube channel. This YouTube channel has many subscribers now, and this his Grace Namanishta Das Prabhu is doing a lot of service, and he through the course that he has taken up, he is teaching about Bhagavad Gita across the globe. And again, this is really very nice that we have connected only because of him, right? So why Bhagavad Gita? Okay, you all have joined, you would be studying about Bhagavad Gita, but what would Bhagavad Gita give to you? What has Bhagavad Gita on offer, right? We all want to know what would Bhagavad Gita give. So Bhagavad Gita would answer every problem that you might be having, or that you would be having in future. It would answer all your problems, every problem, without a doubt. Every problem would be answered. The only problem that we have is that we would not be able to understand Bhagavad Gita completely if we just read it for the first time, right? Even those scholars who have read Bhagavad Gita for 100 times, they say that still I am only able to understand 5% or 10% or 15% of Bhagavad Gita only 15%. And that intelligence is good enough for them to answer each and every problem that uh, they might have come across, that is there in the world, right? It is again a spiritual dictionary which answers all the spiritual challenges that you might be thinking across, that you might be coming across. It is a great inspiration. Why it is a great inspiration? Because it would tell you what to do, how to do, when to do, everything. It is a simple book which would tell you each and everything. So life would be very easy. Once you understand Bhagavad Gita, life would be really very simple, right? So let's delve deep. Who are the famous personalities who have told about Bhagavad Gita? So Mahatma Gandhi has told, those who meditate on Gita will derive fresh joy and new meaning from it every day. Every day there is new meaning. Every day there is fresh joy, right? Albert Einstein says, when I read the Bhagavad Gita and reflect mm, about how God created this universe, everything else seems to be superfluous. What is superfluous? It means it does not matter, right? So Albert Einstein says, who made so many discoveries, he says everything else is waste. Everything else is waste. What is most important? Reading Bhagavad Gita, right? Now, why Bhagavad Gita as it is? Okay, for a minute I accepted. We should be studying Bhagavad Gita. But why Bhagavad Gita as it is? Right? Why hear it from Srila Prabhupada? Who is Srila Prabhupada? So, um, Srila Prabhupada comes in the disciplic succession. Krishna told this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, but there are disciplic successions which have a unbroken chain, right? So one guru tells to disciple then tells to his disciple, then he tells to his disciple. There is an unbroken chain that this information is passing from Krishna to us, right? So this is an unbroken chain, right? And we could easily understand this fact. Suppose I have mobile phone and there is data cable which connects the charger with the mobile phone. If the data cable is broken, would we be able to charge our mobile? No, right? It would not be possible. If our data cable is broken, how can we charge our mobile? Similarly, if the disciplic succession is not there, if the information that is coming is not there in disciplic succession, if one is not telling the other and another is not telling the other, how can we understand Bhagavad Gita completely? Right? So it has to be in disciplic succession. Now we come in the again, I would be telling about this later, but for now, please note down if you want, please remember if you want. Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. We come in Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, right? We would tell about this more in, I believe, third chapter. Yeah. So there is no contact lost between the information, and the information that comes from Krishna is direct, right? So okay, for now we understood that we should be understanding from Bhagavad Gita as it is only. But you told me that you would be telling about Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. Now, Bhagavad Gita is a vast subject. You tell me that you would be telling about Bhagavad Gita completely in 18 days. Is it possible? No, it is not possible. Bhagavad Gita is a is a very vast subject, and to understand it completely would take maybe an year. But we are explaining the systematic flow that is happening between Arjuna and Krishna, the flow of thought that is happening, right? This is preparing you for a deeper study, right? So once you understand what Krishna is telling, what we have to understand, what are the benefits, what are the things, right? Thereafter we could delve deeper. Thereafter we could understand even more, right? So we would be understanding more and more in later association. For a deeper study, we would be doing it later. But for now, we would be understanding Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. And trust me, whatever challenges that you may have come across, whatever problems that you may have come across, or you may be facing in future, everything would be answered. So what is the mood of Bhagavad Gita that I was talking? Uh, right? So Arjuna seems to be bewildered. I am bewildered. Krishna is saying so many things, and I am bewildered. And Krishna says, it is all my arrangement. But is Arjuna really bewildered? No. He appears to be bewildered. he appears to be bewildered. From our naked eye, from our eyes, from our understanding, we could understand that Arjuna is bewildered. But no, Arjuna is not bewildered. Arjuna's confusion and Arjuna's confusion and bewilderment made Krishna speak the Bhagavad Gita and rescue him. Right? Apparently, Arjuna is the first listener of the Bhagavad Gita. However, it is for the benefit of everyone. Why Arjuna is acting bewildered? I said that Arjuna is appearing bewildered. Why Arjuna is appearing bewildered? He is appearing bewildered because he wants us to understand. Through him, we can understand, right? Because of Bhagavad Gita, our so many problems are getting solved, right? So Arjuna wanted he wanted him to be the instrument wherein we could understand Bhagavad Gita through him, right? We would again see this again. Krishna drove the chariot in the midst of both armies. Arjuna was in difficulty in having to fight the battle of Kurukshetra. He surrendered unto Sri Krishna, and consequently, this Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Right? So, when was Bhagavad Gita spoken? Bhagavad Gita was spoken when Krishna drove the chariot between the two armies. For how long Bhagavad Gita was spoken? Bhagavad Gita was spoken only for 45 minutes. Yes, only for 45 minutes. We would be hearing about this in 18 hours and we would not be able to understand. Arjuna was able to understand in 45 minutes and even lesser. And for that matter, Arjuna knew it even before Bhagavad Gita was spoken. Arjuna just wanted us to understand, right? So, how could Arjuna understand it in 45 minutes and we are not able to understand it in 18 hours? You say that I would be just giving you the mood of Bhagavad Gita in these 18 hours. How is it possible? It is possible because our understanding is very, 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 very low. Very low. Right? Arjuna's understanding was huge. Right? Arjuna directly heard it from Krishna. And Arjuna was eternal servant of Krishna. Right? He was an associate. Arjuna was an associate of Krishna. So he could understand it. We all could not understand it. Right? Now, every journey begins with a single step. Let's begin the journey into the mysticism of Bhagavad Gita. Right? We welcome you all. Again, officially. So, what are the 5 topics that we would be talking about Bhagavad Gita? Now, Bhagavad Gita talks about only 5 things. So, whatever in 18 chapters we would be talking, it would be talked about only 5 things. What are those 5 things? Ishvara. Ishvara is God. Who is God? The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Brahman, right? So, we would be talking about Ishvara. Second is Jiva. Who is Jiva? Jiva is living entity. Jiva is the controlled. We are all controlled. Who is controlling us? Ishvara is controlling us, right? We are the part and parcels of Supreme God, right? What is the third topic that we would be talking about? Prakriti. What is Prakriti? The material nature. Everything that you see around, land, mountain, air, water, right? Whatever you see, light, whatever you are seeing, that is Prakriti. That is material nature. What is the fourth thing that we would be talking about? Time, Kala, right? So we would be talking about Kala. And what would be the fifth thing? Karma, the activities, whatever good or bad activities that we are doing, right? It is activities. So we would be focusing ourselves only on 5 topics, right? 5 topics in these 18 days, right? So I wanted to ask you all, but let me answer. Rather, let me unmute you all. Yeah. So how many chapters are there in Bhagavad Gita?
18
18 chapters. 18 chapters. And how many verses are there?
700.
700. So 700 verses are 700 shlokas, right? So who said the maximum shloka?
Krishna.
Krishna spoke. Krishna spoke 574 shloka. Who said minimum shloka?
Arjuna.
Dhritarashtra spoke the first shloka only. The first shloka Dhritarashtra speaks, right? Dhritarashtra speaks only one shloka. How many shloka Arjuna speaks?
84.
84.
84. And Sanjaya speaks
41.
41. Yes. And one more question. Sanjaya was able to see what is happening in the battlefield, right? Who gave him this
Vyasa.
power?
Vyasa.
Okay, you know the answer.
Vyasa Rishi.
You know the answer. Yes, Veda Vyasa. So let me mute you all. Thank you. You all answered really very beautifully. Let me mute you all, not for my benefit, but for your benefit, because you would be able to understand things clearly. Yes, Veda Vyasa gave Sanjaya this power. Actually, Veda Vyasa was giving this power to Dhritarashtra only, but Dhritarashtra refused. All my life I have been blind. What would I do with this mystic eyes that you are giving me to see Kurukshetra? Sanjaya is a very good servant of mine. You give Sanjaya this power, I would hear from him, right? Now, before even going in, let me stay on this slide. If you really want to understand Bhagavad Gita, if you really want to understand Bhagavad Gita, how can you understand? What is the best way you can understand? You can understand from the eyes of Arjuna. What is the worst way to understand? You don't want to understand. You want to hear for these 18 days and you would not be able to understand one word of this. You hear like Dhritarashtra. Why Dhritarashtra? Again, let me unmute you. Mm. Why Dhritarashtra was not able to understand? Why Dhritarashtra was not able to understand?
Because he was not into.
Because he was envy and jealous.
Yes, because he had envious and jealousness in him. Why Arjuna was able to understand Bhagavad Gita?
Because he was free from envy and jealousy.
Yeah, he was free from envy. He had a pure heart. Arjuna had a pure heart, right? If you want to understand Bhagavad Gita, understand it from the eyes of Arjuna. Never think from the eyes of Dhritarashtra. You would never be able to understand. If you have in your heart, we all generally we all have some bad qualities, right? We think wrong about some people. Some people have done something wrong with us. We all think like, why did he do? So we develop that kind of hatred, right? We don't feel good about it. If you have any of that, you would not be able to understand. Please throw that out. Please put that aside, and let's talk about Bhagavad Gita. And trust me, you would be able to understand Bhagavad Gita completely. Krishna would give us this intelligence to understand Bhagavad Gita, right? So let's talk about Gita Mahatmya. Should I share this video? Or should I share at the end? I would share at the end. Let me talk about Gita Mahatmya at the end. Gita Mahatmya tells us about why Bhagavad Gita, why we should be reading Bhagavad Gita. What are the benefits of reading Bhagavad Gita, right? So, of all the, this is just one shloka. There are a set of shlokas. We all would be reading about it at the end, right? So, of all the Upanishads, all the Upanishads are like cow, and the milker of the cow is Lord Krishna, the son of Nanda. Arjuna is the calf. The beautiful nectar of the Gita is the milk, and fortunate devotees of the fine theistic intellects are the drinkers and the enjoyers of that milk. So suppose there is one cow. There is one cow, and again I would be unmuting you. Suppose there is one cow, and a cow is full of milk, but you don't know how to milk that cow. You don't know how to milk that cow. Would you be able to drink that milk?
No,
No.
Prabhuji.
No.
Right? Even if cow has milk, even if you have cow and cow has milk, you would not be able to drink if you don't know how to milk it. Right? Now Arjuna is presenting to us an opportunity to drink that milk. Krishna is giving that milk to us. That milk of Bhagavad Gita is given by Krishna, right? So Krishna is giving us that opportunity, but Arjuna is providing that environment wherein we could drink that milk, right? So we would be able to understand Bhagavad Gita through Arjuna, right? We would be able to understand Bhagavad Gita. Yes. So till now it was introduction only. Let's jump into first chapter. First chapter is Arjuna Vishad Yoga. What is Vishad? Vishad is lamentation, right? We all lament at times now. Oh, why is this happening? I have always done good things. Why is bad things happening to me? Right? We always lament at times, right? Arjuna was lamenting, but Arjuna was not lamenting for himself. Arjuna was Arjuna had that intelligence because he was a close associate of Krishna. Arjuna had that intelligence that what I have to do. But Arjuna felt like people would not be having that intelligence. People would not be having Krishna by themselves, right? I do not have Krishna nearby me, sitting nearby me, telling me what to do and what not to, right? So Arjuna had that intelligence, but we do not have. So how can we understand? We can understand through Bhagavad Gita, right? So Arjuna's first chapter is Arjuna's yoga of lamentation, right? I just explained it. So there are different reactions to the same scene. Uh, on one side we have Dhritarashtra, on the other side we have Duryodhana, and Duryodhana had very bad attitude. Let me talk about it in next slide, right? And in the middle we have Arjuna, right? Now Arjuna is giving this appearance that he is lamenting, right? He is lamenting, how can I fight, right? So what is this lamentation about? Yeah. So Dhritarashtra, this is the first shloka which Dhritarashtra says. So Dhritarashtra Uvacha, Dhritarashtra says, Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetra Samveta Yuvutsava Mamaka Pandava Chaiva Kim Akurvata Sanjaya. So he asked Sanjay, what are my sons and sons of Pandu do? Right? So they have reached the battlefield, but what are they doing? Right? He asked Sanjaya. Now, again, I'm unmuting you all. Now, there is one very beautiful question. Suppose there is water. Hare Krishna, mute yourself. There is water. Kirtana, please mute yourself. There is water, right? And you have a big rod with you, a big rod, big iron rod, right? I want you to divide the water into two parts. Can you divide?
No,
Through an
Prabhuji.
iron rod. Is it not? It is not possible, right? By an iron rod, if you strike the iron rod in water, it would not be able to divide, right? But if you want to divide milk, is it possible?
No.
Is it possible? It is possible. Suppose you add lemon to milk. Lemon to milk, what would happen? What would happen? Milk, milk would break. Yes, the milk would break. Let me mute you again, and then I would unmute you. So the milk would break, and similarly, this Dhritarashtra was saying, so in Dharma Kshetra is represented by milk, right? Mamaka Pandavachaiva, right? So he wanted differentiation between his son and son of Pandu, but they both belong to the same family itself, right? Why did he wanted to break this family? Because he wanted to eat the fruits, eat the rasagulla coming out of breaking that milk. He wanted to break the family to eat the fruit, eat the benefit, eat the rasgulla that is coming out from the breaking of the family. That which could not be broken, something like water, right? He is breaking like milk. So he is doing adharma, but he wanted his son illegitimately to rule the kingdom, isn't it? He wanted to eat the rasgulla. So this is Duryodhana. Now look at Duryodhana. Duryodhana, what is the mood of Duryodhana out here? Yeah. What is the mood of Duryodhana?
Angry.
He is very angry. And who is this? Who is this sitting next to Duryodhana?
Dronacharya.
Yeah, he is Dronacharya. Dronacharya. Now, Dronacharya is his guru. Is it good? Is it possible? Is it okay that he is getting angry at his guru? No, you can never get angry at your guru. And why is he getting angry? There is a very good story behind it. Let me tell you about that story. So there were two friends. There were two friends. Who were they? Dronacharya and Drupad. Right? Dronacharya and Drupad were two friends. And this Dronacharya was a Brahman. This Drupad was a son of a king, right? So when they were departing from, they were in the same Gurukul. When they were departing from the Gurukul, Drupad said that whenever you want anything, just come to me, just tell me, I would let you, I would give you, right? Now, one day, Dronacharya felt like this Drupad has said that whatever you want, any day you want, you just come to me. And he was living in poverty. Dronacharya was living in poverty. So Dronacharya felt that my friend is always there, but when he went, Drupad made fun of Dronacharya. Drupad ridiculed Dronacharya. Then Dronacharya said, "You already promised me. Why are you ridiculing now?" So he said that it was a promise made when we were very small. I would not honor those promises. In childhood, we say so many things. I could not honor that. Then Dronacharya became very angry. And he taught Kauravas and Pandavas. In fact, Kauravas are not Kauravas, it is Dhritarashtrayas. I would tell you why. But he taught Dhritarashtrayas and Pandavas. And so after teaching, what did he do? He asked, as a Guru Dakshina, he asked his disciples to bring him the kingdom of Drupad. So they won over Drupad, and Dronacharya was gifted the entire kingdom. Thereafter, Dronacharya gifted half of the kingdom that he got through Drupad, his friend, right, who ridiculed him by saying that you did not give me anything. I am giving you half my kingdom, right? But by then, Drupad again got very uh, um, felt really bad that this Dronacharya ridiculed me to this extent. He took away all my kingdom, and again to ridicule me, he gave me half of my kingdom. So he did a lot of tapasya, and he asked for one son who would kill Dronacharya. Now Drupad's son Drishtadumna was born. Drishtadumna was born only to kill Dronacharya. Drishtadumna was born only to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this fact. Dronacharya knew this fact, and one day Drishtadumna came to Dronacharya to get lessons of warfare. Despite knowing this fact, that this boy who is standing in front of me, who came to know about warfare, right, he would kill me one day, he taught this child. He taught this child. Selflessly, he taught this child. He thought, like, if Krishna wanted me to be dead, I would be dead. Why to worry? Why to lament? Why to think too much? Right? So he taught Drishtadumna. Now, what happened was, Duryodhana is angry because of that fact only. You taught that guy, and see, oh my teacher, behold the great armies of the son of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple. See, intelligent disciple. He is being ironical here. Intelligent disciple, the son of Drupad. Drupad was the head of the force that was leading for fight with Dhritarashtra's or Kauravas, as we know. But Kauravas are not Kauravas, they are Dhritarashtra's. Why they are Dhritarashtra's? Look, Kaurava is the clan from where both sons, Dhritarashtra as well as Pandu was coming. Now, sons of Pandu are called Pandavas. Sons of Pandu are called Pandavas. Similarly, son of Dhritarashtra would be called Dhritarashtriyas. But we call the head, the Kaurav dynasty, the sons of Dhritarashtra, which is not right. Both are Kauravas only. Both sides are Kauravas only. Pandus are Kauravas only, right? They both belong to the same family. If we are calling Pandus as Pandavas, similarly, Dhritarashtra's son would be Dhritarashtriyas, right? They would not be Kauravas because they both are Kauravas, right? So this is a slight understanding thing. At times, even I may call them Kauravas for your simple understanding, but they are Dhritarashtriyas. We all should know this fact, right? So different councils were blown, and the sound became uproarious and vibrating the sky and the earth. It shattered the heart of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So what happened was, as these councils were blown from both the sides, the sons of Dhritarashtra's got shattered. They knew that they are sure to be defeated. Why did they knew? Because there were reasons behind that. There were 9 reasons. Let me unmute you all. Some of you have joined earlier, so I would request them not to prompt right now. Let new people answer this. If they do not answer, please answer. Yes, I am unmuting. So what are the reasons? What are the 9 reasons why Arjuna would win the war? Hare Krishna, please say.
Sir, can you repeat the question? Prabhuji, can you repeat the question?
Arjuna would win the war. Sons of Dhritarashtra knew this fact.
Hare Krishna, sir. Because Krishna is on Arjuna's side. That's why.
Yes, Krishna was on Arjuna's side. Yes, this was. In fact, this is the biggest reason. There were 9 reasons, but 8 reasons come later. This is the biggest reason. If this is the reason, rest may come or may not come. If Krishna is on their side, they would win. But what are the 8 reasons? What are the 8 reasons?
And
8
because
other reasons.
Dharma is Arjuna's side.
I am
And-
what?
Because Dharma is on Arjuna's side. That's why.
Yes, Dharma Kshetre. It was Dharma Kshetre.
Hanuman
Yeah.
was
Somebody
They
said
were united.
Arjuna.
yes.
were united.
Hanuman was on the flag. Hanuman was on the flag, right? If Hanuman is there, you could not lose. You could never lose. There is one reason right here. What is this reason? See my cursor. What is the reason?
Goddess Lakshmi is there.
Okay, Goddess Lakshmi would always be there when Krishna is there. So that is another reason. Yes. But what is this reason which I am pointing to? What is this? What is this?
The chariot was
Yes,
done by Krishna.
yes. Arjuna's chariot was really divine. So what is the second reason? Arjuna's chariot was divine. Kapi Dhwaja, somebody said. Before this, we came to know that there was conscience throne. So Shankhanada was there. What is this reason? This reason. This is another reason. Yes, Gandiva. Gandiva was there with Arjuna. If there anyone is with Gandiva, they could not lose, right? Before this, we saw before this slide, we saw that this Duryodhana was getting angry at his teacher, right? There is another scene wherein Duryodhana is saying that these are there are so many this soldiers, they are ready to die for me. Now that was really very inauspicious, and it was said in a very inauspicious time too. If you say such inauspicious thing, what would happen? A
They would
bad thing would happen, and it was said at such a bad time that it was Tyakta Jivita. This was another reason that Arjuna would have won the war. Bad omen came when the Duryodhana said the day. What was the day? When Mahabharata began?
Pandava
What was the
Ekadashi.
day? Ekadashi. Moksha Ekadashi was the day, and this was another reason. Moksha Ekadashi, in this Moksha Ekadashi, only good things could happen. These are the two other reasons. Rishikesha is the biggest reason. Rishikesha means Krishna, right? Rishikesha is the biggest reason. And if Krishna is on your side, it really does not matter what else is in your side or not. If there is nothing on your side, Krishna is on your side, you would win. Whenever Krishna is there, Bhagya Lakshmi or Lakshmi would always be there, right? Bhagya Lakshmi would be always be with Krishna. Now comes Arjuna's lamentation. Arjuna is crying. Why is Arjuna crying? So again, there are 5 reasons, right? 5 reasons why Arjuna did not wanted to fight the war. Arjuna never wanted to fight the war. But what were those reasons? Could someone please tell me?
Yeah. So the first reason was because Arjuna was very sad because he was going to be destroying or killing his own like his
Okay.
own brother.
Because
Okay.
he was about to kill his own
Okay.
relatives who
So-
gave them
so-
lots of love.
So yeah, both of you said the same thing. He was compassionate. He was compassionate that my family member would die. What are the other reasons?
Prabhuji, also that he said that I don't want to fight, or this was another reason, and also that he said that I want to be on the dharma. I can live like if I don't fight, I will live peacefully and I will do
Yeah.
bhakti.
Yeah, peacefully. So if I kill, there would not be any enjoyment. If I kill my own kinsmen, my own family, friends, where would there be enjoyment, right? So Arjuna said there is no enjoyment. What are the other reasons? Other reasons?
Papa, sin.
There,
He said
yeah,
that
Papa, sin would happen. Sin would happen. Why would sin happen? Because killing my own kinsmen, killing my own family men, would it be pious? It would be sinful. That is what Arjuna said.
He
What is
would
the
break
fourth reason
family
that Arjuna said?
tradition. He would break family tradition.
Exactly. Exactly. Arjuna feared of breaking family traditions, right? So if I kill those people, what would the tradition be? That in my own family, I killed my own family member. Yeah. What was the fifth reason?
he
No
was
one wins in a war.
Prabhuji.
Nobody wins in a war. Again, that is no enjoyment only. Yeah.
Prabhuji also that he was on dharma. He wanted to be in dharma. He said the scriptures say that we should be on dharma, and he was actually in dharma.
Yes, yes, he wanted to be on the dharma side, but he did not have clarity what is dharma. He had indecision. He did not have clarity, so he did not have. He was entangled into indecision. So these are the five reasons that Arjuna gave because of what he did not wanted to fight, right? So here I think, so look at Arjuna, he is crying. So which can you relate? Again, there are five reasons. We all related to all these five reasons, right? So here we end the chapter. Now, mm, there are a few facts I want to share. First is, again, I would request you not to leave this meeting till I do not tell you about one announcement. There is one announcement which I have to make. Yeah. So, what was the age of Arjuna? What was the age of Arjuna during the war? It was 80 to 90 years age. He was 80 to 90, right? And Krishna was of the same age. Now we would know that although Arjuna was aging older at that time, people used to live for many years, right? Age is getting shortened every time. Now, since you took birth to your earlier generation, to your grandfather's generation, people used to live 100 years, right? Thereafter 90 years, thereafter you are seeing that 80 years is too much. Soon you would see 70 years would be too much. So slowly age is declining. So Arjuna was getting older at the age of 80 to 90, not that old, but he was getting older. Maybe he had crossed youth phase, but Krishna was of the same age of 80 to 90 years old, but he looked like a 16-year-old child. Why? Because Krishna's body never decays. Krishna's body is transcendental. How is that this transcendental? This is another question. This would be answered by the Bhagavad Gita, and we would see. Please wait for a while, for just 2-3 days, right? Gita Mahatmya. Let me share Gita Mahatmya first, thereafter the announcement. Uh, for Gita Mahatmya, I would take just a couple of minutes. So there is a very senior level devotee, Shobha Maiya Mataji. So she sings really very beautifully. We would hear about Gita Mahatmya in her voice only.
पुण्यं या पठेत्
Yes, just a minute. I'm sharing. If you want, I can share the link in the group. But let's hear and see in the meaning. You would see that every shloka meaning